And then as part of a deal where the United States got 99-year leases and naval bases in Bermuda, Newfoundland, and other places that Great Britain had, we sent those destroyers over without congressional approval. It ultimately led to a lead lease, which the Congress passed, but it gave Britain the necessary things it needed at that time to be able to survive against Britain, and by the time it needed, ultimately, for the war to change as it did, and then ultimately 4 years later, for the Nazis to lose and for the world to be what it is today. It would be so different if FDR felt he couldn't ask his advisors for creative ways to get things done. Now, I'm proud of my record of accomplishment as governor, and I want to just share that with you before we go to questions, just because I just want you to know my heart was right, and I worked hard, and I really believe I did a lot of good things for a lot of people. Anastasia talked about the children who got health care. We became, under me, in Illinois, the first state in American history to provide comprehensive health care to every single child in our state. I believe health care is a moral issue, a fundamental human right, and we did everything we could to make sure that our kids could have access to health care. But I didn't stop there. We wanted their parents to get health care too. And I expanded health care to more parents, more grown-ups, more adults than any state in American history. Some of that I was able to pass with the legislature through the give and take of that process. Some years it was good, and some years we fought. And some of it I had to go around the legislature to simply do. We found creative ways around them. They didn't like it, and so when they had a chance to throw me out of town and kick me out of town, they were happy to do it. But every uninsured woman in Illinois can have a mammogram and a pap smear, because under us, we found a way around the legislature to make that happen for women. And we know that if women have mammograms and breast cancer screenings, it will save their lives. Breast cancer is survivable in more than 95% of the cases if it's detected early. But in less than 28% of the cases, it isn't if it's detected late. And if women don't have those annual or routine mammograms or pap smears, they're going to discover their breast cancer when it's too late. And so we were able to change that, not with legislative help, but going around the legislature, finding a legal and creative way to get it done. Every senior citizen, it used to be, your grandparents could take public transportation for free, get on a bus for free, get on a metro train for free. Used to be every one of them. They've rolled that back since they got me out of town, and now something like a lot of seniors now have lost that free public transportation. I believe that was the right thing to do. They raised the sales tax on people, and that's a regressive tax that disproportionately hurts poor people and seniors living on fixed incomes. So I went around them and wrote in their bill, if you want to do that sales tax increase, give public transportation for free to all of our senior citizens. And it happened. And there was a lot of complaining about it, which surprised me. Yet I thought that the role of government was supposed to try to help people improve their lives, ease their burdens, lessen their hardships, and try to make things a little bit better when you can. And I was raised by my mother and father to believe that you're supposed to respect your elders. And if you've worked your whole life, and you've raised your family, and you've paid your fair share of taxes in the autumn years of your life, we're supposed to try to make it a little bit easier for you rather than harder for you. I'm disappointed at my fellow Democrats in Illinois. In fact, I'm more than disappointed. I'm disdainful of how they've stuck it to the people of Illinois. I'm a Democrat more than a Republican. Why? Because I've always believed in modern American political history, the Democratic Party was a party that was more on the side of ordinary people. That's why I chose to be a Democrat. My dad was a Republican. My older brother is a Republican. Luckily, he lives in Tennessee, so he couldn't vote against me when I ran for governor. But I became a Democrat because we're the party of ordinary people. And yet, what have the Democrats done since they got me out of town? Pat Quinn promised you a 33% increase in income taxes. He thought he was being frank and candid, even though he broke a promise he and I both made for 6 years when he was my lieutenant governor not to raise taxes. When he made that promise of a 33% increase in income taxes, he was knowingly lying to your parents, because he knew he had a plan for a 66% increase in the income tax. But he felt like, I can't say that, I won't get elected. So I'll just say 33%, and then if I get elected, I'm going to sock it to the people right away, not wait and have full debate by a new legislature, but I'm going to take that old lame duck legislature, the one that's leaving town, and we're going to make political deals to get them to vote to raise your parents' taxes by 66%. And then hopefully you'll all forget in 4 years when I run for re-election. That's what Pat Quinn did. And he was able to pass that with a bunch of lawmakers who were leaving town. And one of them made a political deal, getting a big job from him in exchange for her breaking the promise that she made to the voters just 2 months before when she voted to raise taxes. She said she wouldn't. She then voted, lost the election, voted for a tax increase, was one of the key voters to get that passed, and then Quinn gives her a big position on the Prisoner Review Board. Part of the political deals that happened I'm not saying it's illegal. It's very cynical, and it's wrong because your parents now have to pay more in taxes than they should. There's $60 billion of your parents' money there already. If the political will is there and you're willing to fight the lobbyists and the special interests, and you're willing to have the transparency that's necessary so you know and your parents know and the men and women who pay the taxes in our state know what's going on, there's plenty of ways to be able to move that money around and make it work for people. Not only is Quinn and the Democrats, are they raising your taxes a record historic tax increase that's going to drive business out of Illinois, but they're cutting education. They're actually reducing investments in education. The Democratic House just passed a bill reducing education funding. For 6 years I was governor, we funded education by something like $9 billion in increases, a record increase in public school education. I gave more children and parents health care than any governor in the history of this country. That costs money. And I never raised the income tax or sales tax on the people. I kept my promise to them not to do it. How do we do it? You make enemies. You take the money and you move it around, and you consolidate functions. And you say no to the big, powerful unions who want the tax increase and want more state employees than you need. You make the necessary hard decisions, hopefully, and put the money in the places that do the most good for the people. And I'm going to leave you with this. Conflict in government is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Conflict in government and a fight over money is supposed to be what these lawmakers and governors are supposed to do. They shouldn't make it easy on themselves by going back and asking for more money from the people. That should be a last resort. They should get there in government every year, roll up their sleeves, and have a fight over where the money should go. And let the ones that make the best case prevail. I believe the money should go to help people ease their burdens and create opportunities where otherwise they can't do it without the help of government. And that's what we did for 6 years. And some years we were able to get it done a little bit easier than other years. Other years we had to fight for it. But in the final analysis, it's supposed to be about setting the priorities that benefit the people. You, the young people, who are now getting involved, who want to be statesmen, who want to get involved in government and politics, I'm telling you, in spite of how I feel about my own kids and a preference that they don't get involved, and the other part of me says they need to get involved. They need to be part of this process. And you must get involved and run for office and make things better and change things and bring that enthusiasm that you have and be willing to ask all the right questions and to challenge the status quo and to never just accept things the way they are, but to keep pushing and prodding the system to try to get things done. If you don't get involved, if young people don't get involved, then we're basically surrendering to the people who are there now making all those decisions. And there'll be less disclosure. There'll be less transparency. There'll be less for you to know about what's going on, so you can't make informed decisions. And yeah, maybe your life might be a little bit easier, but I got to tell you something. The upside of governing, the upside of being in the arena fighting to try to do things for people, the upside of all of that is the genuine reward you feel and the gratification you feel when you've actually touched somebody's life and you've helped them and you've done things that have helped them do better for themselves. I've been blessed to have lived the American dream. I'm living a bit of a nightmare now. I'll overcome that, and I'll be vindicated, and I'll move on. And I look forward to getting involved in this process again someday. This is the nature of the business. And if there's another lesson I can impart to you, it would be this. As you get older and you see what life is going to be, whether it's when you're grown-ups, whether you're still in high school, when you go to college, you may apply to a college you want, and they may reject you, and you may not get what you hope to get. You may be trying to get that grade that you think you worked hard at, and maybe you fell a little bit short. You may somehow get shocked by something that wasn't what you expected in school or in life. You may get, in fact, you will get, you're heartbroken as you guys get a little bit older and you fall in love, and she says, no, I like the other guy. I know what that's like. But you pick yourself up and you never quit. You never give in. It's the adversity that shapes who you are. It's the adversity that will make you better. It will make you stronger. And it not only will make you stronger and better, it will give you a better appreciation of the challenges and struggles of others. And it'll make you even more determined than ever to try to do something to make things better for other people, not just yourself. You'll appreciate their suffering more and understand what they're going through. You'll have a higher sense of duty to try to change that and make it better for them. We've gone through a hard time, but I got to tell you, one of the most uplifting parts of this experience for Patty and for me has been the people that we've had a chance to meet and talk to over the past 2.5 years that have talked to us about their struggles and the things that they've had to face. And what so many families have to face in America today, and the struggles that they deal with, and the heroism that they bring to face those challenges and struggles. Parents with sick children, parents families who've broken up because of divorce and other struggles. What those families have had to face are so much more serious and grave than anything that I've had to struggle for. I've been blessed in that regard so far. But when you think about, and when you have a chance to meet the people I've met and hear their struggles and their sacrifices, and how they stoically and heroically get up every single day and never give up and never quit, it's inspirational. It's inspirational. And it's the sort of thing that reminds me how lucky I am to be in a place like this. And in spite of the struggles that I'm facing, it's nothing compared to what other people are facing. And so I just want to tell you how grateful I am for all of you, for your interest in being involved in politics and government. Never give up hope. And when I think about young people wanting to get involved and change things and make things better, that gives me hope. And I know things will get better. It always has. Our country was founded because we had the courage to break away from the most powerful country in the world, Britain, by young people. The civil rights movement began by activists that were young and saw the injustice and wanted to change it. The Vietnam War encouraged young people to get involved and make the grown-ups rethink foreign policy considerations. Young people elected Barack Obama president. You have in your power the ability to change America and make it better. And you may slip and stumble and fall, but don't give up. Keep going. You, please, get involved, turn 18, change America, and make things better. Thank you.